It's a very simple concept. Guide a monkey and a ball through a series of increasingly challenging boards to reach the goal line. Throw in a dozen high-quality local multiplayer minigames and leaderboards into the mix, and you've got a recipe for success. These marble maze-like games took the world by storm in the early 2000s on the Nintendo GameCube with Super Monkey Ball and Super Monkey Ball 2, and these games have been in the hearts and minds of millions of players all around the world for 2 decades. These long-loved classics have been remade from the ground up in this remake compilation of Super Monkey Ball games from the GameCube era, and threw in the deluxe boards from Super Monkey Ball Deluxe to make the package even more enticing. As an extra bonus, Sega has added some exceptional additions to these remakes, including online leaderboards, customizing characters with costumes, adding a shop to buy extra goodies like more modes to play, art, gameplay modifiers, and even more. Super Monkey Ball fans were somewhat disappointed when Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, a remake of the Wii title, was released in 2019. A game that clearly wasn't the pinnacle of the series, as fans criticized the game for its more watered down and easier gameplay, in addition to its massive collection of largely boring and uninspiring minigames. It seems Sega has listened intently to what the fans have always wanted, a remake of the 2 original titles from the GameCube era of games, remade with modern graphics and made available on a variety of platforms. Although not without a few faults, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is a de facto return to form for the franchise, and one that fans of the classics 2 decades ago should absolutely check out. Without a doubt, this is the greatest Super Monkey Ball game since the glory days of the series in the early to mid 2000s. To those unfamiliar with the Super Monkey Ball franchise, the concept is incredibly simple. Take one of several monkeys in a ball and roll them through the goal on a variety of boards. Rinse and repeat this through several backgrounds with ever-challenging boards until you conquer them all. The mechanics are incredibly simple, as all movements are physics-based, as moving forward allows the monkey to roll forward and can be held in any position. The player can also maneuver the monkey in any direction, allowing the monkey to gain more and more speed. As the player tilts their left analog stick to roll the monkey, the board appears to tilt in correlation to how far the player maneuvers their joystick. As this game is primarily played with just the left joystick for moving the monkey and with the right stick to operate the camera, as well as a single button to manage the game's map, the controls are simple and intuitive enough to provide hours upon hours of fun that anyone can pick up and get accustomed to. This simple gameplay has been the main staple of this franchise for the last 2 decades, and although Sega has tried to adapt this gameplay to movement-based controls in previous entries, popular opinion has it that playing Monkey Ball games with the joystick offers the most precise and authentic mode of playing Monkey Ball. This game starts off simple, but continues to grow in difficulty with each passing stage as more and more difficult board layouts enter the mix, creating various obstacles in your path to try to throw you off the board. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania's story mode and challenge modes can be accessed as the first option in the game's main menu, titled Main Game. The modes found in the main game are the traditional Monkey Ball gameplay modes, meaning you guide a singular monkey along a stage to reach the goal. Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 are separated by their challenge modes and are clearly labeled. Each challenge mode is then further separated by difficulty, ranging from casual, intermediate, expert, master, and finally marathon, with marathon tasking the player to play all Monkey Ball levels in a row without a break from casual through master. These grueling challenges can take upwards of over an hour, depending on the player's skill, and require great amounts of attention and dexterity. Also found in the main game section of the menu is the game's story mode, which is the same story mode found from Super Monkey Ball 2. Fans of Super Monkey Ball 2 will see that the developers have cut the old 3D story cinematics and have replaced them with much simpler 2D vignette animations that follow the same general idea and flow of the story's source material. Although I would have preferred to see the 3D cutscenes in the game, the inclusion of the new presentation for the story cinematics is just fine, I guess, for a lack of a better word. The cinematics in Super Monkey Ball 2's story mode were certainly charming, but did absolutely nothing for my enjoyment of the game. So it makes sense why the developers opted to go away with the old presentation and settled for a much simpler alternative. The story mode in Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, just like Super Monkey Ball 2, takes the player through 100 of Super Monkey Ball 2 stages in 10 different backgrounds. With 10 stages per background, there is quite a lot of variety here on offer, and is a very good way to first start playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, as all the stages gradually become more and more difficult with each new world completed. The game's backgrounds range from lush jungle backdrops with fantastical plants and fauna with cascading waterfalls, and evolves into deep sea excursions, industrial clock tower gauntlets, and space stations and intergalactic mayhem. The variety on offer with the backgrounds is further expanded when taking into account all of Super Monkey Ball 1 as well, as that game's backgrounds are quite similar to the second game but rounds out a list of excellent locations, including a serene desert oasis, a polar ice cap background, and backgrounds high above the clouds and cityscapes. The backgrounds are all teeming with charming and colorful life that provide a stark contrast to the insidious difficulty that its main boards inhabit. Because Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is a remake compilation of the first two games as well as the deluxe levels, the graphics wonderfully recreate the more realistic backdrops of the first two games, unlike the games that came after it on the Wii and handheld platforms. Although Banana Mania plays it very safe when replicating the games that it remakes, the game's bananas, goals, and goal animations upon completing the stages are quite cartoonish and are more reminiscent of the latter games in the franchise. This is made all the more apparent in some of the game's minigames, like Monkey Target, where the mode seems to have not retained its more realistic art style and appears more cartoonish. I have no problem with this, but it is definitely worth mentioning to those who are familiar with Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2. In all, the graphics are beautiful to look at, and all the game's boards and environments have been faithfully remade to fit more modern hardware and look the best they have ever been. All the boards in the game have been faithfully remade as they appeared in the originals, with a select handful of them being optimized and tweaked to make certain sections easier. Some boards are compact that are fairly straightforward to approach, whereas many of the more difficult boards are elongated, have a lot of verticality to them, or are mazes. Many of the boards rotate, flip, spin, and provide incredibly challenging gameplay moments that gamers will surely want to snap their controllers in half over. But persistence absolutely pays off. One of the great new features in Banana Mania is to practice stages with the assist option, allowing players to see a preferred route to take on the course in addition to being able to slow down the time to enact precision to clear some of the board's most challenging maneuvers. Enabling this mode will prevent any players from getting their times posted upon completing the board and will disable trophies and achievements. But this is an excellent option to use when practicing boards that players have difficulty with. For me, the most challenging boards in the game are without a doubt Stamina Master, found in Super Monkey Ball 1's Master Course, and Super Monkey Ball 2's Long Taurus. These boards require incredible control over the ball, and I benefited a lot by having the option to slow the game down and practice certain elements over and over before I disabled assist mode and tackled the boards as they were intended. There are seldom any other games that provide the thrill and joy when completing some of the game's more challenging boards, and I am sure this is a big reason as to why so many people return to these games over the years. With such an easy concept, it can be quite deceptive when playing some of the harder levels, but once you hone your craft through repetition, you will notice your proficiency and dexterity carry you far into the game. While playing through all the game modes in Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, players will be notified of points that they have accrued upon finishing missions in the game. The missions, which can be accessed in the current mode that is selected or in the mission section of the menu, details a list of numerous objectives the player can take to earn points. The missions are numerous, with over 700 to complete, varying from easy things like viewing all the music in the game, viewing art in the gallery, and changing a monkey's costume, to more difficult challenges like completing certain courses and modes within a certain time limit, finishing a mode without falling off the course a certain number of times, to scoring a certain number of points in specified minigames. Because missions are numerous, you are going to be accruing points in seemingly everything you do in Banana Mania. These points are very desirable, as they are the game's main resource for unlocking a variety of fun things in the game's shop. The shop can be accessed from the game's title menu and holds all the game's most enticing extras that were never available in the original games. Players can use their hard-earned points to unlock new costumes for their favorite monkeys, to unlocking extras to view in the gallery, to unlocking new playable characters, to unlocking brand new game modes exclusive to Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. The shop is also where you can unlock the ability to jump in the main game modes. This ability was quite controversial when announced for the game because Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 never had the option to jump. Players find that having the ability to jump greatly trivializes many of the game's boards, as they were designed without the jump ability in mind. It is nice that this ability is locked behind points in the shop, and when toggling the jump ability, it doesn't record the time it took you to complete a course when enabled, and also disables trophies and achievements. This is just an option that helps players get through the stages when they want to use it, and is more of a novelty than anything. I'm curious to see how many people choose to use the jump ability in this game, as it feels like more of an afterthought, as it was never a mechanic introduced to the earlier games. Getting back to the missions, they are a fun way for completionists to attempt to do everything, and it's an awesome new feature that can greatly extend a player's time with the game and encourages players to play some modes that they might never have been compelled to try before. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania also has the incredible collections of minigames on offer from Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, a compilation of the first two games, including its minigames. There are 12 minigames to play in Banana Mania, all having been recreated and have been mostly faithful to its source material. Classics return here, including Monkey Target, Monkey Fight, Monkey Race, and much more. Because the minigames from Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 were so beloved and important to what made those games such masterpieces 2 decades ago, it was incredibly important for Sega to make sure that these minigames remained intact and felt as good as they did on the GameCube. While most of the minigames remain faithful to its source material, there are very questionable alterations in a couple of the minigames. The most obvious and glaring example is without a doubt Monkey Target, often lauded as the series' most iconic and beloved minigame. It all comes down to the physics employed in the minigame. In the classic GameCube games and in Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, the players would roll down the signature ramp, gaining momentum and speed before launching into the air, before flying their monkey through a variety of items and obstacles to eventually land on a target that rewarded the player a set number of points. The core of this remains unchanged, other than the momentum and flight of the monkeys. And Banana Mania, launching from the ramp at the bottom of the hill, propels the monkey up in a very fabricated and sudden way, almost like Sonic hitting a spring that quickly propels him into the sky. The angle and speed at which the monkeys are now tossed into the sky subtly changes the trajectory the monkey can traverse, leaving myself and many other players who loved the original Monkey Target games a bit disappointed with this game's loss of realistic physics. The older games were applauded for its incredible physics in Monkey Target, as the ball naturally flies off the apex of the ramp. But in Banana Mania, it feels like a sudden jolt to the sky that creates gameplay implications when trying to navigate your monkey in the air, making the further to reach targets a lot more difficult. It's not that this mode is now bad per se, but it's unfortunately a shadow of its former self now, as the originals are still so much more fun and responsive to play in Monkey Target. In addition, Monkey Soccer is very stiff compared to Super Monkey Ball 2 and Deluxe. I felt like I had very little control over the monkeys when playing soccer in Banana Mania, with their kicks and passes being more like abrupt punts rather than methodical and concerted passes and shots. It's difficult to know which monkey on your team you are controlling, and couple that with the fast and abrupt shots makes this minigame not as fun as it used to be. The other minigames have been totally fine and are just as how I remember them. I spent a lot of time with Monkey Race on the older games, and in Banana Mania, it has held up wonderfully in this game. There are a dozen courses to race, including single races, Grand Prix, and time trials, and each course looks and feels just as good as the originals. As I was playing Monkey Race along with other minigames, I felt like it was a missed opportunity for Sega not to include an online multiplayer option, as all these minigames would greatly benefit in having online multiplayer. Let's hope that it can be added in the future, but at least all the minigames feature local multiplayer, and each game works perfectly in multiplayer. I also greatly enjoyed Monkey Bowling, which is especially a blast when playing on the more challenging lanes, where the lanes are contorted and animated in ways that make you question how you're even going to hit a single pin. Monkey Bowling was just as fun as it was back in the day as it is now, and I'm so happy that it plays just as I remember it. There are numerous other gems, including Dogfight, where you fly a monkey through the skies on a variety of maps to take down opponents with machine gun fire and missiles in aerial combat. Monkey Fight, where you duke it out with other monkeys in a variety of backgrounds and try to knock them off platforms with swift punches, charged up punches, or by using a variety of power-ups. Monkey Shot, where Super Monkey Ball turns into a light gun shooter where players hover their reticle over enemies that appear on the screen and rain down bullets in 3 distinct locations, culminating in epic boss battles, and more. Oh, and before I transition out of the minigames, Monkey Golf is awesome and should be checked out by everyone. Monkey Golf can be played both in mini golf format and also in standard golf, with real clubs. Both are easy enough to understand and get the grasp of, and they are all fun to check out, especially in its more difficult stages. Like Monkey Bowling, Monkey Golf has some truly nightmarish courses in this mode, and sharing these moments with friends provides some of the game's best moments. Getting back to the other options in the main menu, players have an options menu to fine-tune their controller sensitivity to their liking, which is a wonderful feature new to Banana Mania. Because Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 did not have right joystick functionality to operate the game's camera, it is a wonderful feature to have been added in Banana Mania, which can greatly assist players in lining up their next moves and stages when lining up your ball is essential when progressing the game's tougher maps. I set my camera sensitivity to 1, meaning my camera, when operated with the right joystick, is very slow, giving me more precision when lining up my ball and is particularly useful when trying to navigate thin stretches of the board. There are leaderboards as well, so players can see how their times stack up compared to their friends and other players around the world. Ranked Challenge, similar to leaderboards, tasks players to accomplish either courses from the main game or select minigames to compete to get high scores and quick times. Although not a big addition to the game, some of the game's achievements and missions involve getting a certain score in ranked challenges. What up, YouTube? Jack from Fun My Life here, wishing you a happy holiday season this year. Please go ahead and roll over that like button and subscribe to the channel for more great deep dives about some of the biggest games in gaming. Thanks for your consideration, fellow FMLers, and keep on having fun. Another change to Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is the new soundtrack the game now sports. All the game's music from its menus, minigames, and stages have been completely redone for this new game. When I heard that they were redoing all the tunes from the originals, I was a little bummed out, just because the original score is so memorable, and not having the option to switch to the old soundtrack is disappointing. Players can opt to purchase the downloadable content for the game, which unlocks the game's original soundtrack, as well as additional playable characters, but this is a feature that should have been implemented in the game without asking fans of the original to spend more money. That being said, the new tracks are quite good and still retain the fun, cheerful atmosphere that the old games brilliantly captured. The new tracks are even more synth-heavy than the originals, but still have some semblance to the previous tunes' melodies. As sad as I am to see that the originals aren't present here without the paywall, these new tunes do a great job at sounding entirely Super Monkey Ball, even though it leans a bit too much in the more house direction in some stages than its source material. One thing that I'm not a fan of is the sound of the bananas. I loved the jingle that played in the classic Super Monkey Ball games upon collecting bananas, but that is out and has been replaced with the newer banana sounds of the previous entries. Although not the end of the world, because this is a compilation of Super Monkey Ball 1, 2, and Deluxe, it would have been nice to see the sound effects from those games being represented here, if not having an option to toggle those sounds. It is certainly worth mentioning that the extra characters in the game, namely Sonic, Tails, Kiryu, and Jet, don't make a sound when you play with them in the stages. It is a little jarring when playing as Ai or Gongon when they make their cries, grunts, and celebratory cheers, not to hear anything coming out of the extra characters. On one hand, it would have been nice to hear some effort put into giving these extra characters voices, but on the other hand, it is nice to finally have characters who don't cry every single time I fall off the board when attempting the more challenging boards. And that happens a lot more than I'm willing to admit. To wrap up this impressive package, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania comes with 5 extra modes as mentioned in the shop. These extra modes are fantastic as they provide extra challenges to players who are itching for some more Super Monkey Ball challenge. On offer is the Deluxe mode, which compiles a playlist of all 46 deluxe stages from Super Monkey Ball Deluxe. These stages are some of the most fun in the game and are an absolute blast to play. While they aren't among the game's most challenging stages, they offer some of the most varied and fun stages throughout. Golden Banana Mode puts players on a collection of the game's main stages and tasks them with collecting every banana on the stage. These stages start out quite easy and then quickly ratchets up in difficulty as more sprawling, maze-like stages are thrown in and some harrowing vertical stages. Dark Banana Mode is one of the highlights as it tasks players with avoiding dark bananas on the stage as players maneuver to the goal. Like Golden Banana Mode, Dark Banana Mode starts off simple and quickly becomes sweat-inducingly difficult as players need to make some very daring maneuvers to get past dark bananas on some very precarious stages. Like this half-tubular figure 8-like stage, for example. The player must get their speed and trajectory down with pinpoint accuracy to make their way through this dark banana-infested course. Included is the original stage mode, having players navigate through 23 of the original stages of the game that were not tweaked for Banana Mania. In Banana Mania, some of the stages were tweaked to better assist players to reach the goals, making some of the older game's more challenging boards a bit more manageable. In original stage mode, players can now play these boards in their original state, preserving the difficulty in which they appeared when they released. To finish off with the extra modes is the reverse mode, where the goal has been replaced with their starting points on 10 of the game's boards. This mode is quite small and a bit easier than the other modes, but it is fun to return to some of the stages and play them backwards. By playing certain stages this way, it introduces new and unexpected challenges that makes returning to these stages more fun. All in all, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is a wonderful return to form for the franchise. One that has been needed for a long time as fans have felt like the series had progressed too far from its roots that made the series special to begin with. Compiled in this remake are 2 of the most adored Super Monkey Ball games with their deluxe levels included, along with a suite of extra modes and options that further increase the value of this title. Sega definitely went out of their way to deliver a game that many of the older Super Monkey Ball fans have always wanted, and although not everything has perfectly transitioned over to the current hardware, the vast majority of it has, and remains one of the high marks of this long-running franchise. Let's hope that the renewed interest in this series makes way to future installments of this iconic franchise.
8.